Hey guys, welcome to devops school. In this video tutorial, we are going to learn about Docker. It helps us to create, deploy and run applications by using containers. After going through this tutorial, I promise you that the concept and understanding of the Docker will be absolutely clear to you.
But before that, let me ask you a few things. Are you dreaming of a career with higher pay and more responsibilities? Or are you ready to take your skills to the next level this year? Then start investing in DevOps certification level courses, which will help you to emerge skills for a wide range of entry-level roles and as well as higher potential future positions. But with thousands of courses online and in classroom worldwide, finding the right one for your career goals can be difficult. You can consider our courses like Agile Developer, Agile QA, DevOps Certified Professionals, Site Reliability Engineering, DevSecOps, and Masters in DevOps Engineering, where you will have access to well-structured, easy-to-follow course content that has been developed and will be delivered by industry professionals. You can join on our training programs globally through online platforms, and if you are looking for classroom workshops, then we have regular sessions available in Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, Delhi NCR, Mumbai and in Pune. Simply compare our many courses, find the one that suits your style and schedule best and start today.
So let's decide the today's topic. So today we are going to cover Docker volume, Dockerfile, which one topic is remaining entry point, Docker networking. Docker networking is pending, Docker volume, Dockerfile, Docker networking, Docker compose, and then we'll get into the new topic, which is Artifactory, and here we will do with Docker images also, uploading Docker images. So these are the things we will do that today, whole day, and get going. Any questions? You guys have any questions? Any topic?
So Rajesh, if you can include basically something related to security, and in terms of, I think Ashok mentioned one more thing, right? JIB.
Yeah.
JIB, that one.
Yeah.
And apart from that, if I'm not wrong, I think you may need to explain how do we manage. We have three subunits: Dev, QA, and production. So how do you manage the containerization in this environment?
Okay.
And probably you can tell what is the way forward to use ECS as a service, if you can just highlight a high level.
Introduction. Yeah. Any other questions, guys?
Rajesh, there was a point yesterday which you were explaining when accessing the servers. So it's like you happen to explain us something like physical server is running only if my PID 1 is running, which would be triggered by system D for a physical server. If you remember that point, for the containers it will be anything, because you're trying to explain us why when we start some container Docker image, right? When we started to use that, it was exiting on few cases, right? You are trying to explain that scenario.
Yeah.
There you happen to explain there the PID 1 could be anything, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was thinking, why couldn't it be the container D?
Container D, how can it be? Container D
Because when it comes to the physical server, it will be system D, which will be happening to interact with the PID 1. So when it comes to container, I was just thinking container D could be the one.
No,
Or
this logic will not work, because container D basically interact with the kernel to create a container. So how
yes,
container D will will be running as a PID1 because that is a different. So see here, container ultimately you want to host applications, right? So
Yes.
it cannot be it cannot be something related to the system D, something like that, or container D, because it has to be applications. Container D is talking to kernel, so it's not required. So
Okay, in that case, what I happen to think is like when if it is container D, then whatever I have in my container, right, that would have been triggered by container. This is what I thought.
no. Container D basically, remember, each container get user namespace, mount done,
Yeah.
network done, and you one I forgot actually. So four things you get it right. So that is done by container D because only container D can talk to kernel on this and then get it done.
Okay, so as long as something runs in the container, then it will have its own stuff. So there need not be PID1 related to container D, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, guys. Any other questions? No questions. Okay, so let's get started. So now I'm going to start with Docker volume. So because it's a new machine, we have to install it. It's a fresh installation. I need it. Okay, guys. So I have a Docker already now. So let's start with Docker volume. This is the topic which we have to cover. Now the question is, what is Docker volume? See here, containers store all the files in the writable layer, right? Whatever you write some files, containers stored in the writable layers, and the location is diff. Okay, that is a diff. Now whatever you have in the diff and whatever you have in the other layer, that get into the moment you run the container, it gets into the merge layer or merge directory also. So this is how it happens. So this is the Docker volume. So what happens, there is a one, let me create one container, docker -rnt kubuntu. So there's one container I created, and you see here, and I'm writing one important file, touch exec container and touch and opt and let's say devops school.txt. Okay, so if you see docker exec, this one, touch opt devops school.txt. Now I am creating, this is a very important file of mine, this file. But what happens, any files which you write inside the container, the life cycle of content is as long as the container is there. So for example, var lib docker file dot name, and here you see that this is the file.
Repeat
The
your
life
last
cycle.
line.
What is that? Hello.
I
Please.
asked you
It
to
may be
repeat.
by mistake.
Yeah. So here, if you see here, the file is there in a diff directory, which is and merge directory also. But the file will be there as long as the container is there. So for example, if I stop the container, you see here, the merge is gone, but I don't care about the merge, I care about the diff. But the moment I stop the container, remove the container, and the file is lost forever. That means the storage is there, the files are there as long as the containers are there, and if I lose the container, I lose the data also. And this is the major problem. So we need a persistency. We need persistency, because data is, which is something important, right? Applications I can get up and running as many times within a second, but how do we get a data? So we need a persistency, and the solution is with volume. Okay, so this Docker is supporting volumes inbuilt. This is a default functionality you have inbuilt with it. So with the help of volumes, even the container is gone, data is not gone. So this is the topic which we are discussing. Typically we can say it's a storage topic. Remember, in any platform you learn nowadays, AWS, Azure, Google Cloud. So first you learn compute like a EC2, then you learn storage like a EBS, then you learn networking, that is something called VPC in AWS. So same way I'm also learning, you are also learning, and stuff like that. So compute unit was container, storage unit will be volume, and then networking we'll discuss in some time. Okay, so here the volume. Now the question is how to work with the volume. So let's get started. So volume is also three type. Okay, mainly again, one is a volume itself, we call it volume. One is a MNT, and one is a temp fs. Now what is this volume? So this volume, if you use this volume type, if you use, okay, types if you use, this gets stored in a directory which is called volumes. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so here right now there's no volumes, so this will get stored, these volumes here. Now if you see, if you use the mount, it can be any path in the host location, and this will be stored in the memory. That means there's a drawbacks, deleted once reboot. You know that memory get clear once you reboot the system. Okay guys, now you can install different kind of plugins also. A lot of plugins are there, but that is out of scope because we are not focusing on those stuff. So these are the things. So now the question is, how can we work with this one, volume, first one? So let me directly work with that. The command is docker volume. Now rest of the command I don't know, so I will write enter, and I got to know there are 4 commands, 5 commands which you have, and which we can use it. Not very difficult to learn, not very complicated to learn also. For example, create, you can create a volume. Inspect, I told you there's a very strong command inspect you can use for container also, you can use for images also, you can use for volumes also, you can use for networking also. So in a nutshell, any objects you can create a volume for it, any objects. Okay, so inspect command will give you that one. Now ls means list all the volumes. Prune command will remove the volumes which is not been used. What is the meaning of not been used? So not been used means not been used by any container in a running or stop format also, both the format. Okay, so that is called not being used. That means ideally it's not associated with any container. Simple. Okay, now rm means you can remove the volume. So these are the very familiar command. So here I create a volume. Before that, let me list the volume. See, there is no volumes here. Volume driver and volume name. So can I create a volume? So yes, I'm creating a volume for dev. And you see here ls, I created a volume. Where it is? Here it is. Okay. Can I create one more volume? QA. Where it is? Here it is. Okay, so here this is the way you create a volumes. Let me tell you, this is the volume stored in this location var lib docker volume. Now the question is arising, how can we use it? So I told you, I don't know how many of you have looked at, spent some time, docker help run. Please spend some time here. Okay, docker help run. Very many options are there. Whether you use it, not use it, understand it, not understanding it, please read it at least, because that should go into the mind. What are the options available? Maybe once it comes to use it, you will immediately recollect. Okay, so here I am going to create a one container this time, itd and Ubuntu. This command, you know that, but I want to mount one volume which I created, dev to where you want to mount inside the container, opt dev. Okay, so inside the container I want to mount opt dev, and the which volume I want to mount, dev, the alias is which is -v. So this is the way I am mounting the volume. So let's create, and docker exec container id, let's short name, let's get docker exec container id, and df-kh. You see that you got this here. Okay, def. Can I mount the same volume again to some other container? Yes, you can do that. So here I am mounting here in another container, and can I mount two volumes? Yes, you can do that also. So here dev qa, right, qa opt dev qa. So there's a two containers I have mounted, sorry, two volumes I have mounted in the same container, whereas out of which one is been used by another container. And you see here docker, yes, there's another container which I am having, and if I see here docker exec df-kh, so here you see only the qa you are able to see, only qa, which is the second one. So is that mean that this did not get mounted? No, actually in the df table only one table will be mounted at a time. Okay, that is the limitation. What exactly the reason is, means architectural or coding limitation, I don't know. But if you see that here ls opt, see you get a both. So you see only last mount in the df table, but in real both will be mounted. Okay, so now you got this mount. So here dev and qa. So now you go to the dev physically. I'm going to that. Usually you will not do that, but just for the demo. Okay, so here I'm creating one file, touch file1.txt. So I created in a dev. Okay, can I see that in a container? Docker exec ls opt dev See that file, you can see. Can I see in another container? See that file, you can see. Can I create in a Docker container itself? So exec and touch opt dev raju1.txt and see, I can see in local also. So here, whatever the you write inside a container or applications write inside a container at this location, okay, at this location, you will have a storage in that location. Okay, so you got the volumes used. We mapped this volume. Now, if I check this Docker ps Docker stop, I'm stopping the container, both the container, and remove the container. I remove the container, and you see the data is still not deleted. Data is still there. So this way you have a data persistency. Container is gone, but data is not gone, and that is what you wanted. Okay, that is what you wanted. So yeah, this is a volume. So now I have a dev, I have a QA. Can I delete? So Docker volume rm delete QA. It got deleted. Can I prune it? Prune means unused. Both are not used. Yes, it got pruned. Now everything is clear. So guys, this is the way you work with it and then get going. So any questions so far?
Yeah, Rajesh, I have a question. Uh,
Yeah,
you created a file that raju1.txt inside the first container, right?
yeah.
Suppose both the containers simultaneously create this
Hmm.
file with same name and in the same
Mhm,
path. So
mhm.
how is that clash resolution? Is there any feature for that?
No class resolution. No class resolution. Logic is simple. I will not give you the straight answer for this. Let's say two user are, you and me are logged into the one laptop. Okay, and you are also using the file, I'm also using the file. If the timings are different in the writable mode, then lock will not happen, system lock will not happen. But if you use it the same second, same millisecond, then you will not be able to use it. That's the system
Right, right.
characteristic. So remember, container, you should not give the very great attention. It's you, it's a me, it's a process.
Please enroll for our channel membership 399 plan to get access of all the parts.
Got it?
Okay.
So system will lock that, operating system will lock that. They know that someone is reading that file, so they lock that. Sometimes because of that, it get created swap file also. If you try to write the file which is already locked by someone else, and still you are trying to write, then swap file get created. You might have seen it sometime. Okay, guys. Any other questions?
So this means that that one file that may be used by two containers will be overwritten over the time. I mean, by any of them.
Yeah, it can be shared one. It's like this. You are sharing and I am sharing D drive. We both are writing a files in D drive. Are we getting problem? No problem. But we'll get a problem if you write a same file, same time, then one will be locked, one will be, we'll have to wait for it. In that case also nowadays we have a swapping functionality, right? So you'll be writing in the temporary file and after that unlock happen, the merges will happen. So those are the things which is there in the operating system.
So the default volume location is var lib Docker volumes, right? In case if you want to change some other location, how to do it?
So here is no one. Okay, so now can we move on, guys? Can we move on?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, So now second type is mount. Mount means any system path. So here, let's say this directory get crashed. So because it's a part of the system. So what you should do typically, if you really want to store the data in the important directory. So let's say there's one directory which is I created backup. Actually, it's not a directory which is located here. I mounted it from the some external devices. That means this directory, whichever you see that, it's mounted from some other places. Right now, just you have to assume it. So just assume that it's got mounted from somewhere else. So in that case, how do we use it? This same way, nothing new. Docker run -v and this location and where you want in the container opt Raju Ubuntu. Enter Docker ps here. Oh, sorry, my bad. It got exited actually. It day and here it got run. So now if you see here Docker exec container ps-ef, here it is, and df-kh, see here opt Raju, anything you write inside a container, let's say touch opt Raju, some file rrr, you see the look, container is gone, the data still will be there, even though system get crashed, data still will be there in the physical storage that you can mount to other node and then use it. So your data persistency at a Docker level is available. Same thing with the memory also, it will stored in the memory but deleted once it get rebooted. So that is the thing. So guys, this is the volumes with Docker.
So
Any questions?
Rajesh, how do we manage, let's say we have multiple container and the container can move across the host machines, basically, multiple servers. So in that case, how do we manage in terms of persistent storage? Because the VM will be moving from one host to other host, right? During
Yeah.
a failure.
So yeah. So here, first thing is understand this. Just a second, I was missing one thing. So here, first thing we need to understand. Any cloud platform you have worked with? Any cloud platform?
Yeah, AWS.
AWS. So forget about the container for time. How do we manage the data persistency in AWS? Even though
we carry the volume, basically, what EBS, whatever
volume.
EBS we carry that as well.
Carry that well. Yeah. So here that is orchestration, correct? So now if you look at this in this model here, in this model, if this path is at some different host mounted at the volume, the container host, then whole host is gone and container still, I mean data will still be there. Now you can that mount, you can host to other machine and you can use that data. That's the one thing. That's the simplest thing. Okay.
Yeah.
So you have to use the host. That's the simplest thing. But if you go for the plugins, then there are many plugins available, storage plugins, which will help you to get it done. For example, EBS plugin, NFS plugin, block storage plugin, object storage plugins. So like that, there are many plugins are available. So we can enhance it. But are we doing it? No, because we are using Docker only for one work. What work? Running a container. Apart from that, we do not use Docker for anything else. So what we will use in the production? We use Kubernetes. And Kubernetes has a similar concept, but much more advanced and lots of options are given. So storage technology, all storage technology is supported in that. again through interfaces only. But yeah, those are the things we use in the production. But in a Docker level, if you want to use it, yes, you can use it also. That's called Docker plugins.
Okay, so you suggest this should be managed at the Kubernetes level for the production.
At the production, we have to use. Now, there's no suggestion, because if you go for the production level, so there's a few tools are available. I mean, when I say production, means what? Production for the containers. Okay. So if you go for the production for containers, you have a few tools available. For example, Kubernetes or Docker Swarm from the Docker it alone, and then Nomad and stuff like that. So if you go for that orchestration level, you have to use this tool, and those tools also has inbuilt capability for data persistence.
Okay.
Because Docker alone cannot solve our orchestration problem, production problem. This is only, Docker is only for the running in the dev environment, creating an image, sharing the image. That is okay. Whatever we learn, that is only limited to. Okay.
Okay. And one question I have is, so I mean, from the comparison between volume and MNT, it's just about the path, but otherwise, what is the difference in terms of the backend behavior?
No difference. It's just about the path, actually. Just about the path.
So
here is a
really. Okay.
Yeah, it's here is a hard coded, and here is not hard coded.
Okay. So it's about us convenient to choose which one. Basically, both are same functionality, right? I mean, from the.
Okay. Yeah.
No, why? Because the volume generally, when you create volume, it's not accessible by multiple system in general, right?
No, it will be available. Docker. Yeah, Docker. Okay, this one, second one.
See, usually we use MNT or mount is basically for NFS storage. Volumes is not for that. Volumes, if you have to do again, you have to write another NFS service layer on top of it, and then expose and mount it.
Yeah.
Okay, but in container, I was thinking, volume may be in the same model, but I don't see any difference because it allows to mount in multiple containers.
Yeah. Once you get into the plugins, you'll find many more options also, but hardly you will use it. So I think that's not a problem.
Got it.
We don't remember, container is compute unit. You don't store anything in container. We store everything in volume. Now with that perspective, if I look at this, do you remember here Jenkins container which you have used from last 2 days? So what they were doing actually, so Docker Hub Jenkins, and here you see what they were doing. So they were instructing the Docker file itself. I hope you guys have done the assignment which I gave you last day. So
we tried, but we not validated use case of it.
Okay, so if you see here what these guys are doing, Jenkins, they are saying this is up to your planning. Okay, how you plan your applications to run. So here you see they created one environment, var Jenkins home. Okay, now users, if you see, they're adding users and setting the user home. Instead of user home, they're setting a var Jenkins home. See here, -d. Okay, they're setting up var Jenkins home. See, okay, and after that, this is set, right? Now this has to be created. So now this volume is here somewhere.
It's above, it's gone. Yeah. Right.
So there. So that means you see here volumes. So here is set the volumes here. So volume means, this line means it will create one volume and map to inside a container at this location. Now if
but
you
here,
see here,
we are not mentioning what is the host side name, right? What is the volume name at the host?
Volume name at the host.
So this is on the mapping side of the container.
That I did manually, but here whatever this line will create a same volume and attach to the same mount. So here it's a automation, so you don't have to know that. You are
Okay.
not doing, right? You are not doing. You're, so this line will create a 40 character, not like a dev QA. It will create a volume name with a 40 character. I'll show you just a second. And then
Okay.
now what these guys, now you see here, this is done. Now if you see this guys is playing, what is playing, you see here, look at this. See here. See here. They are downloading this file, and after that they are saying run in this directory. Okay, Jenkins home. So everything get recycled in the Jenkins home. Means every files, whatever you get it in Jenkins home. So that way everything, even though container is gone, Jenkins data will not gone. For example, let me show you. Docker run -d Jenkins. And you see here, we got the container. See this, the container, Jenkins container. If you see the var lib volume, see here, this is your volume. And if you go inside it, the data is there. See here, all these are the data of Jenkins. So even though if you lose the container, this data will be there. For example, see here, ps docker stop and docker remove, and see here data, I remove the container, okay, and data is still there because of.
Okay.
So you have to use in a certain ways. So you create a volume, you user set the volumes, you write everything in the volume, so everything get into that file, that location. So you design that way.
Okay. Got it.
Okay, guys. So let's move on. So now Docker volume is done. Now this is I was holding from long time. So here Docker file has a two entry which is having CMD and entry point. Now what is this? What is this CMD and entry point? So here Docker has to tell, I mean any Docker container has to know what is my PID, what is my PID. Okay, that's important. So how do you inform what is your PID one? Sorry, PID one. Okay, what should be your PID one? What should be your runtime environment for containers? So what? How to inform that? Okay, so if you want to inform this, there's a two ways: CMD, entry point. Okay, CMD, entry point. So here there's a one way CMD, there's another way entry point. So this is the way you can tell in a Docker file what is your PID one. Okay, understand that PID one. So now look at this here, entry point Bintini. Now you know that I'm showing you Jenkins. Jenkins, you have used it, so you understand that PID one Bintini entry point. Now let's use the Docker Hub Ubuntu image. We have used it. It's a base image. Go to the latest. See here, CMD, bin bash. You know bin bash, right? It was the PID one. right? Let's go for the CentOS. Somewhere latest. CS CMD WinBash. So here we got to know, okay, if you really want to set the PID one, then you have to use CMD and entry point. But the question is, what is the difference between these two? Okay, so we need to understand this. So we need to understand this one. Now, before that, I would like to tell you one thing here is exec mode and executable shell mode and exec mode. Okay, so what is the difference between exec mode and shell mode? So see, anything, whenever you execute something, some commands, either it execute in shell mode or exec mode. So shell mode means what? So that command, whatever you type, it run with the help of shell. Okay, and exec mode means the whatever you are trying to run, it run with the help of executable. And in a system you have so many executable. So let's say I type ls. If I type ls, then what this mode is called, when I type ls in the system, see here. So that ls is understood directly by system, or this command is sent to someone and then it has run it. What do you think?
The system command.
It's a system command, but which mode it has got executed?
In cell, no? It has got executed in cell, terminal
So
cell.
this command read by shell, and shell has executed. Okay, because shell found out, okay, this utility is in my path location, and then they have executed. So this is called shell mode. But if I say exec mode, so I'll tell you here which is. So if I want to execute exec mode, this is the exec mode in a bracket. So if see, I'm directly calling that guy, okay, not using any interface for that. So directly calling this guy, or it can be Python also. Understand that, very simple concept actually. It can be Python also, okay, Perl also, Java also. Okay, so this is a shell mode, as exec mode, sorry, Java. But here Python, this is a shell mode. This is a shell mode. Are you getting my points? What I'm trying to say? So here it's executable. You are calling the executable path, and then param1, param2, param3, something like that. Are you getting my point, guys?
Yes.
Okay, so now this is something which we have it. Now with that understanding, let's understand CMD versus entry point. So basically both will create a PID one, that's true. And I showed you already. See here, see here, see here. Both will create a PID one. Now understand that how this PID one can be hold, that's not a topic which I'm teaching you. It's up to the developer to decide. That should not exit, that's the only statement which I'll make. So here CMD can be replaced. CMD can be replaced. So this is the one of the major problem with the CMD which we had it. CMD can be replaced. For example, during runtime. Now here if I see that, look at this. This is the executable mode. See here, this is the executable mode, okay? This is also executable mode. See here, bin bash. This is also executable mode. Okay, all these are executable mode. Bin bash, bin parameter 1, parameter 2. Okay, so this is I was talking about something here. So CMD can be replaced. So now here, if I see bin bash during runtime, I can replace bin bash to something else. So let me first show you that and then we'll move on. So Docker run, okay, Ubuntu, and I want to replace with Raju. Docker run ps-c command Raju. So here earlier it was a bin bash which is fixed, but it got replaced. Raju IC ls, and you see here ls listed all the properties of the directory structure of the container, and then it got exited. See here ls. So I can replace the container PID1. I can replace the container PID1 when you use CMD. So that created lots of frustration in the image developer, saying that, okay, I create an image so do to behave something like this, but it started behaving like something like this if the user change their parameters. I don't want that. I want to create a container as an executable concept. Understand that? Executable concept. That means no matter what you have, this behavior will not change. This behavior will not change. Correct? This guy will not act like a Java. This Java guys will not act like a Python. LS guys will not act like any other command. It's like executable. So some developers say, no, I want to create a container so like executable. So whenever someone run that container, the behavior should be consistent. It should not be changing. Are you understanding this? Are you understanding this?
Yes.
So then Docker introduce entry point. Docker introduce entry point. Here command PID1, I'll say PID1 cannot be replaced. Yes. So here if you see here, I'll show you this. Entry Jenkins has an entry point, right? Here Jenkins has an entry point. Here it is maintaining. Let me check this out. Docker run Jenkins ls. Okay. Docker ps-a. See here, did not, it container got exited, but behavior did not got changed. See Bentini. So this is the things which we have it. Okay, this is the thing which we have it. So CMD and entry point PID cannot be replaced. Now here when you type, when you pass, understand that when you pass, no, this I'll give you assignment. Okay, so now let me set this some of the stuff. So here quickly let me show you one example from Ubuntu. Here run cmd, and I want to change that to bin bash to bin ls. Okay, and here simple entry point here. Okay, so let's create two images quickly. Vi doc1 and I used it here, vi doc2. See here. Okay, so here vi doc1 you have, and vi doc2 you have this one. See here from Ubuntu bin ls and entry point. So see here, I'll create images, docker build -f doc1 -t doc1 dot. Created one image. Okay, so there's something. Oh, vi doc1 image is not there. Okay, created another image. Doc2 also I'll create another image. And here Doc2. See, I got a two quick image, Docker images, Doc1, Doc2, Docker run Doc1 RRR and Docker run Doc2 RRR. Docker ps-a. See here. See what happened. Here Doc1, this is the one, it got replaced, and here you see that what has happened. Look at this, it did not get replaced. See here, then ls still there, and this command got appended as a parameter to the entry point. Did you understand this, guys? Did you understand this?
Yes.
Okay, so now I'll give you an assignment. One assignment is, what about if I pass two entry point in this? Two entry point. You have to keep these questions answer hold. I will ask you anyone randomly. What about two entry CMD is passed? What about one entry point you pass and one CMD and one CMDs? What will happen? So you have to keep these questions ready. Now next thing is, I will give you one assignment more, and that is,
if you liked our Docker session so far, please enroll our general membership for $399 plan to get access of all the parts.
Along with that, you can access our other tutorials such as Docker, Ansible, Jenkins, Terraform, Splunk, AWS, Azure, and various other DevOps related premium tutorials with our channel membership. If you would have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devops.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the $399 plan and grow your skills immensely.
Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest.
Thanks for watching.